Hey everyone! Thanks for joining me today to go over Codility's lesson for the minimum average 2-slice in their prefix sum section. I read many comments and articles about this lesson, with many people stating that it didn't really make sense to make this a prefix sum problem, as it was more a mathematical one. To be honest, I can see it as a prefix sum issue, since to find the average of a subset of numbers, the first step is to find the sum, after all. Codility's explanation of the problem is a little tricky. This is sort of similar to their other problem, the genomic range query. If you haven't watched my video on that, I do suggest at least watching the beginning where the problem is explained. For this lesson, they give 3 slice examples using 2 2-element slices and 1 4-element slice. After solving the problem, I can see why some people were confused. In all actuality, a 4-element slice isn't necessary, and I think Codility is just trying to throw people off a bit, since splitting a 4-element slice evenly will give you 2-element subslices. A 5-element slice? Well, that will just get subsliced into a 2-element and a 3-element slice. Make sense? Any odd-numbered slice will be divided in 2s and 3s, and any even-numbered slice will just be halved. Therefore, all you ever need to solve is for 2 or 3-element slices. To set out solving this problem, y'all should know by now that I bombed on the first try. I knew in my head what I was trying to solve, so yeah, I got the example array correct, but completely failed the test cases, of course. Here, let me see if I can explain what I was thinking. Maybe by explaining this first, it will help those who are confused by the problem or don't understand what Codility is asking. Because we know we are only looking at 2 and 3-element slices of the array, we just need to return the starting index position of the lowest average. So we have a min2 and a min3. If min2 is lower than min3, all we need to do is return the first index of that slice, right? Well, yeah, but not exactly. The only thing right on this was the example test. Let's try again. My second attempt garnered me a whopping 20%. I was excited. I discovered that when it goes through the for loops, it's not calculating the last 2 indices. And it's not because after the len of A, there is a -2 as typed here. What happens is the list index goes out of range. So to counteract that, you will have to take the range till the third to the end, and then make sure you put that in your if statement down here under another variable. I chose TMP3 to make sure it gets covered. In the end, this example failed due to not accommodating negative numbers. So my attempt to remedy that was to use floor division, but then that really messed it up. So no, I couldn't do that. For our third and last example, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to leave you with my last attempt that got me 40% in task, 20% in correctness, and 60% in performance. Why? Well, because there are plenty of examples online that can easily show you 100% across the board that contain pretty much all the information I have in my solution. This video is just a little run through of how I did on this Codility lesson. What I did differently on the last example was to take the average of the last 2 indices and put it outside of the first 2 if statements. That got me the higher score, and I was actually quite proud of that. It failed on the medium, large, and very large sequences though. There were probably some timeouts as well, but it did tackle the negative numbered test cases. I believe the problem for my solution was in the structuring, which was an easy enough fix, but like I said, finding the correct solutions online is easy enough. Hopefully this video gives you a good place to start in solving this problem with your own solution. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video was helpful to you. Daily videos throughout the week are coming out, so don't forget to subscribe.